I put my power in the shadow because other people said, that's a lot of power. And so for years and years and years, I put it away and put it away and put it away. And I locked it in a cage. And I told myself, I'm bad for having emotion. I'm bad for feeling big feelings. I'm bad for being strong and powerful.
I was afraid of my power in the shadow. And the more I owned my shadow, the more powerful I became. And now I'm not ashamed to hold my power when you do something wrong.
The power of being yourself is the greatest gift you'll ever have.
The more we can feel safe in our nervous system to be our authentic self, the more we go higher in life. Spiritual Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Bigger, and I'm back again. And listen, you talk about intuitive guide, you talk about spiritual teacher, numerologist, expert, and the host of the Higher Self Hotline Podcast. Zoey Greco is in the building. So let's get into it. I'm curious about your story. I'm curious about the podcast, but I'm really curious about your spiritual experience and within yourself, within your challenges and changes that got you to be who you are today.
Being actively psychic and intuitive my entire life.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had family that was either like oblivious to it or very supportive of it. And so my interruption of my selfhood didn't really occur inside my home. The trauma that we endure definitely misshapens us into something else.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I am only 5 feet tall. I have a huge personality, a huge energy, a huge voice. I'm a performer. And I think my entire life, just feeling like everything about me was just too much. I was too emotional. I'm a crybaby, too dramatic. I'm too extra. I'm too vulnerable. I'm just too. And so I started to shape myself into a person that I believed would be worthy of the love of the people around me or worthy of the dreams that I had in my heart. And so for actually the first nearly 10 years of my work, I operated under a pseudonym. It was the Merhipsy, which was like mermaid hippie gypsy, always bopping around into this like other identity. Like I was operating like in a completely different energy behind a mask. And over the last like 3 years, I've been in this journey, in this process of unmasking from that identity and reclaiming my name in my work and reclaiming my authentic energy and my essence. And what I discovered in that experience was the power of being yourself is the greatest gift you'll ever have. And even though my work has been very much revolving around like, receiving guidance from the universe, the most spiritual thing that you can ever do is be a human being. When I was reclaiming my name after operating behind this mask forever, I realized the work that I am here to do, the lives that I am here to change, the things that I am here to experience are here to be experienced by Zoey, not by the Merhipsy, not by whoever I was pretending to be. But like what I am here to do can only be done when I am in the deepest embodiment of my true self. I think our intuition is the most important thing we have on that journey because it is the voice that tells us who we really are. It's the part of us that guides us toward our truth. And so the fact that I was actively, intuitively, gifted my entire life is really important because there was always this thing that tethered me to my truth. And once I finally surrendered to it, which I think is a really important part of the process, letting the false self die, which is a very scary thing to do, everything in my life reorganized itself into alignment.
And what I'm learning in a social media technology, AI space, the reason interest media is taking off and not social media is because people are looking for raw, authentic voices and people because we're not raw and authentic in our own lives outside of social. Everyone's
Yes.
faking it. Everyone's wearing a mask. Everyone's pretending. Everyone's projecting, hating, shaming, blaming, right? Pointing a finger. But when someone like you come on and say, look, people, I went through hell and hot water. I'm back. I'm her. It doesn't matter what height, what I look like, what you think I am. You're going to feel the truth that I am, and I'm going to speak it. So I wanted to share that because I think it's important for the audience to know the more we can feel safe in our nervous system to be our authentic self, the more we go higher in life, high vibe, high frequency. And then for your world, what outside of the catalyst of change, the transformation, what got you deep into spirituality, but what really brought numerology into your life? I'm curious about that.
Oh, that's such a good question. So I feel like it was just always something that instead of having to find it, it was something that needed to be nurtured and protected so that it wasn't forgotten. And it's something that I think I put to the back burner for quite some time because I just didn't really understand how it fit into everything because we live in a world where it's like astrology or nothing kind of thing when it comes to like tools of understanding. I mean, nowadays we have human design, we have all sorts of things that we didn't really have when I was young. And I feel like numerology was always present in my sphere of knowledge, but not something that I thought to pursue. But one day I bought a book. Shout out Joy Woodward. Joy Woodward is one of my favorite numerologists. I bought her book and I got through like the first 3 pages of the introduction and I thought, I'd rather learn this from her directly. So I just found her on the internet and was like, hey, will you mentor me?
Wow.
And so I studied with her for 3, 4 months. I think it's a really beautiful tool and it's just another thing to keep in your arsenal. I don't think there's anything outside of your own inner truth, like your own self knowledge, that you really need to attach yourself to like live by or live through. But
Mhm.
I think as self knowledge tools and modalities go, numerology is pretty profound and it has a lot of wisdom and explores things from a different angle than we usually hear.
As the numerologist, having the information, doing that immersive training for 3 to 4 months, what did you discover in numerology that worked best for people where it connects deeply in their soul?
So when I look at people's numerology, there's 4 different numbers that I really like to explore. And I think other numerologists would suggest that there's different areas as well that are maybe even more important.
Yeah.
But I like to look at your life path number. Like, what is the path that your soul is here to walk in this lifetime?
Yeah.
I like to look at your birthday number, which, if you're thinking about walking that path, what are the tools in your tool belt? What are the innate gifts and skills and traits that you possess that you get to use to support you on that path and on that journey?
Yeah.
And then I also like to explore your attitude number, which is the way that you're first perceived. How do people experience you? And it's also the number of how you approach life.
Mhm.
So it's like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it's something important to know. And then lastly, I like to look at your personal year. We move in 9 year cycles in numerology.
Yeah.
And so within those 9 year cycles, what position in that cycle are you in? What is the lesson of the year? What is the theme? And each of these numbers, as with all things energetically, has a shadow aspect and a light aspect.
Yeah.
So it's important to ask ourselves, how am I experiencing the shadow of this number? Or how is the shadow of this number standing in my way? And how can I bring myself into alignment with the light qualities of this number? And to understand that there's a gift in both. There is a gift in the shadow,
Yeah.
as we know, and there is a gift in the light, and there's beauty to find in each of those things.
So let's do a session. I'm coming to you. These are my numbers. Give the audience and give me feedback. So I'm a life path 11. I'm born March 9th, 9. And
Okay.
my attitude number is 3. My personal year number is 4.
Life path 11, you're a master number. We only have 11, 22, and 33 as master numbers. And 11 is the leader. Like, you truly are here as a visionary to pave a path and pave a way forward for the world. 9 is the number of spiritual wisdom. It is also the number of completions. You are here as a humanitarian. And so when we talk about, when I said, the most spiritual thing you can do is be a human being, that really struck a chord in you because you are here for humanity. Attitude number 3, no wonder you found your way to Hollywood. I'm sure your entire life, everyone was like, you're a star, you're a star. You've got like this great personality. Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
magnetic. Your magnetism is profound.
yeah.
3 is also the number of communication. Like, it's the throat. It's, being a channel. And you certainly are a channel. Like, absolutely everything you say is coming from, it's
Thank
almost like you have this opened crown chakra that is just like pouring through.
you. Yeah. When people see me, they see the perfection, the superhero, the leader, right? But and for years, I didn't tap into that power, right? I didn't step
Mhm.
in. I was running from it because I was afraid of my shadow.
You're aware of the shadow and you were afraid of the shadow, which is why you didn't want to hold the power, which is why most people don't want to hold their power because they're afraid of their shadow.
Heard of
They
that?
feel like they can't trust themselves to hold their power. I actually one of my clients recently was she came to me with this huge breakthrough that felt like she was so afraid to say it and I was like, "Baby, I've heard this a million times. Like, this is not new." But she was like, "I'm afraid that I'm a bad person." And I was like, first of all, bad people don't worry about whether or not they're bad people. Second of all, that's why you don't want to hold your power because you think, what if I'm not a good person and I finally hold all this power and I use it in the wrong way?
Yeah, yeah,
What if I do that? And I feel like you came to this realization that you just shared where you said, you know what? Fuck that. There's no way I'm gonna misuse my power. I'm a pure
Yeah.
soul. I'm a pure heart. I'm a good person. Like,
Right,
I
right.
can trust myself to hold my power, and I can trust myself to use it kindly and use it wisely.
Man,
And, you can make someone like I've learned as a mentor, right? Like, you're gonna trigger your clients. They're
right.
gonna trigger each other. You're gonna trigger them. And there's nothing wrong with that because when we let something come to the surface, that's when we get to deal with it. That's when we get to take care of it. So for you to say, whoa, I have a shadow. And hold on a second. When I meet my shadow, it's just all the parts of me that other people were afraid would overtake them. Like I put
Right.
my power in the shadow because
Yes.
other people said, that's a lot of power. And you were like, yeah, and it's
Right.
not gonna hurt you. I told a story like this once in one of my newsletters where I equated my power to a dragon. And everyone was always like, I don't want you to lose your temper. I don't want you to freak out. I don't and I was like, yo, just because I can blow fire doesn't mean I'm going to. Just
Ooh.
because I'm powerful doesn't mean I'm going to. Like, just because you're afraid of my power doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you need to be.
Right.
And so for years and years and years, I put it away and put it away and put it away, and I locked it in a cage. And I told myself, I'm bad for having emotion. I'm bad for feeling big feelings. I'm
Right.
bad for being
Right.
strong and powerful. I'm bad for that. And it
Right.
wasn't until I looked at my dragon and said, oh my God, you're just a magical creature in a cage.
Ooh,
Like,
you
yeah,
speaking.
yes,
Yeah, release the beast. Release the
release the
dragon.
beast. That I was like, "Oh, I can do anything." And now I'm riding on the back of that bitch. I'm riding
Right,
that bitch
right,
all the
right.
way out. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
it's a
yeah, yeah,
beautiful, beautiful thing.
yeah.
And so what I'm seeing in you is someone who already realized, yo, using my power and giving it away to Hollywood and trying to like access people in this specific channel is not going to work for me. I'm too locked up in my throat. I can't
Right,
actually say what I want to say. I can't be who I
right,
want to be. So you
right,
said, let me make my own way. And
right.
now you're riding on pure magnetism and pure charisma. And once you get people into that sphere, you're like, cool. Now that I've got your attention, let's change the world.
You so tuned in, tapped in, and that's why I wanted people to experience this part of you because this part of you is authentic. And this is why you guys should follow her, get her products, and be in her energy because she just attuned and something in me to make me feel like, oh, that's what it was. I was afraid of my power in the shadow. And the more I owned my shadow, the more powerful I became. And now I'm not ashamed to hold my power when you do something wrong.
And
Right?
that's an example of using my intuition, right? Like,
Yes.
I don't know you. Like,
Right,
we
right,
are
right.
strangers,
Right, right.
but I can feel your energy. And my psychic gift is clairsentience. So I feel it in my body. I feel
Got
the
it. Wow.
emotions. And
Wow.
so when you spoke, I was like, I got wrapped in the emotion of that and realized what it was, and then
Yeah.
reflected it back to you. And you're like, I didn't even know that's what it was.
Yeah.
And so that's the gift of intuition is like, for me, I choose to use my intuition as a mirror so that I can help people see and metabolize truth about themselves
Yeah.
so that they can then act in a more empowered way.
In the language, and I think this is what I'm really good at extracting power out of people and putting it back in their face, right? So your language, your diction, your word choice, how you said about I was afraid of the shadow of my power. So we know most people are afraid of themselves and afraid to be themselves. What is like a technique, a formula, or a few words or phrases that people can use to anchor them to feel safer in that part of themselves? You said something about the shadow and power. What is something you can give people to move into their shadow with comfort and ease, like I said, and feel safe to get to
Yeah.
the other side of themselves, to live a higher life, right? So they
Yeah.
can be liberated and free.
The biggest thing that I encourage people to do is actually spend time with the parts of themselves that they're so fearful of. We
Mm,
hear this all the time is like journal, journal, journal. Why do you think every amazing, successful human being talks about journaling? Because it actually changes your fucking life. So you've got to journal. So when I journal in the mornings, I follow the method taught in The Artist's Way. So in The Artist's Way, the author, Julia Cameron, who is fucking phenomenal, she teaches that you should write 3 pages every morning, and we do 3 pages because it takes us like a page to a page and a half to get through all the, like, dumb bullshit of, like, "Yesterday, I had oatmeal for breakfast," and then I'm talking to myself as my higher self.
yeah.
And then I'll say, I'll talk to my anger, I'll talk to my power, I'll talk to my whatever it is, my sadness, whatever it is that needs my attention, whatever thing in the shadow you're discovering, and you can even just write to your shadow, just call it shadow if you don't know what's in there yet. but start having a dialogue and let it just come through. Don't overthink it. You're not writing a story. No one's going to ever read your diary. You're not Anne Frank, okay? Like we're not going to like publicize it for the whole world. Like this is just for you. You don't even have to ever read it again yourself if you don't want to. If you're like, that's embarrassing, fine. But you got to say it once. You got to be there with yourself once. So the practice of journaling and writing to your power and from your power, writing to your shadow and from your shadow. What does your shadow have to say to you? Not just what do you want to say to it. You need to listen. You need to listen to the parts of you that have been silenced, that have been suppressed, that have been relegated and secluded and sequestered. Like you need to listen to them and they will tell you everything you need to know. My shadow was all the pieces of me that, people had just hurt my feelings. And so I'm going to cry talking about it. It was just the parts of me that needed to hide away because they were too sensitive and too soft. And when I brought her back out, she's the baddest bitch and I love her so much. And she has all the room in the world now to love herself. But I didn't get there until I was willing to talk to her, to find out who she was. So that's my thing is the greatest thing you could do, just talk to that part of yourself. They're waiting for you. I have a mentor that I work with because I think every mentor needs a mentor.
Yeah.
Like if you're holding space for someone's got to be holding space for you. So I have a whole team. I got a therapist. I got a mentor who's a Buddhist meditation teacher.
Wow.
I'm all over this stuff. And so I feel like because I have my spaces to go and like feel and process and do my work, it really makes me the cleanest mirror I can be for my people in my container. So over at ZGHQ, we do a couple things. I have a free quiz that you can take where I share your main primary intuitive type so that you know, like, how does my intuition operate? Of the 4 languages, what language am I fluent in that I don't even know, that I've been like giving this power away, not using this superpower that I have? In order to do that, you got to know the superpower. So my quiz helps you know your superpower.
That's on your website or your Instagram?
Yep, it's on zoeygreco.com.
Got it.
Which you can also access through my website. And it's like the first thing you'll see is take the free quiz. And then I have some tools that are self-paced tools for helping you become more like immersive in your intuitive activation. So I have this thing called the portal, where you walk through the portal for a 30-day journey to activate your intuition with subliminal reprogramming, meditation, journaling prompts. And that's $44. It's a really low offer.
These things that we talk about, people, is not just to be like taboo or like, I don't believe in that. Well, you should believe in it because it's going to change your life, because it damn sure changed dials. And Zoey, you need to go to her website, take the quiz, get in a 30-day trial of the portal, and listen to her podcast. And can you talk about was it 9-month or 9-week?
Yeah, the 9-month container. Yeah. And it goes perfectly with what you're talking about, because what you're saying is basically we attract like energy so we can co-regulate and strengthen our vibration. Like being around you makes me feel more myself. That's how I know I'm in the right place. Like our magnetisms, right? Our vibrations brought us together, which that just truly happened. And then we're co-regulating off of one another. So that's the importance of being in spaces with people whose energy you want to be around. Like my students get 24/7 access to me. They can talk to me whenever they want, because sometimes they don't even have anything to say. They just need to be in the field. They need to be around the energy of someone who is delusional, who believes in them, who sees what's possible, who supports them, who isn't a product of their conditioning and is actually like a complete opposite to the conditioning that they experience. Like, I have people who are scared to leave their businesses because they're worried their sister is going to be mad at them. They're worried that, and it's like, I'm the voice that says, it's okay if someone's mad at you.
Right. That's what
It's going to survive,
disappoint people. Get used to disappointing people in your nervous system. Yes. Disappoint your spouse, your brother, your father, your sister, your manager, agent. Yeah. Because that's what I had to go.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, you don't really like me. Oh, I made a mistake. I disappointed you. Oh, you're really not on my team. You only like me being positive. So it's so good. By the way, do you have a book out? Are you writing a book? I feel like there's so many books that need to come out of you. No?
You know what's funny? I'm not at the moment, but you must be tapped into something, because I've gotten the assignment. So I'm going to listen to you and write my book.
I can feel your word. When you say your words, there's a transmission come through that lands in my body. And I'm like, whoop. Like it's kind of like a healing, and it's instant. It's like, damn. And that's why people need to be. And I feel like God has made me to be a man that's continue to work and evolve into my healthy masculine for women to feel safe. But I attract women who need to be seen not because of what
Yes.
they do or what they look like, because of who they are. I want to acknowledge you for your gift of discernment and understanding and psychic abilities, because you poured out a lot in this interview, and I'm like, that's what it is. This is what it's about, because I'm aware of sometimes when you're on this spiritual journey and it's just you and you, when you don't have evidence, or when you don't see as much or hear as much or feel as much, you might think you're doing something wrong, or it's not enough, or you're not going as far or going as deep. But God always put people on your journey to remind you to keep doing the work and keep leading the mission, because it's greater than you, and it's greatness in you that got to come out of you, so the world is served, solved, and evolved. So people just really, 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 really sit with this, because I'm sitting with it and I'm speaking in it. This energy that is cultivated and created in this container of spiritual fitness, of what Zoe offers to the world, is something that's going to change your life, because life and light, look at that.
Yeah.
I feel like, no, I don't feel, I know, when they say
Mm.
truth consciousness is back, what that means is that people are going to start to find God in different venues. Success is getting what you want. Fulfillment is doing what you made for. So never count yourself
Oof.
out. Count yourself in. Re-listen to this. Share this episode. Zoe is phenomenal. Zoey Greco. ZG, baby.
ZG.
Remember, subscribe, download, go to YouTube, and people connect with her energy, get in her energy, follow her on Instagram. Your life will change, because it just changed mine. So Zoe, again, thank you. You're amazing. This was
Thank
phenomenal.
you for having me.
Yes, spiritual fitness.